Wednesday at 3 p.m. Central, which means it's time for another great episode of Navigating Now with Thoughtium. Welcome to episode number 273. My name is Makenzi Coan, and on today's episode, I have the great pleasure of being with our CEO, Grift, as we talk through Q1, what it took to get here, where here is, and where we're going from here. So it should be a good conversation. Now, for those of you regularly tuned in to Navigating Now, this is a slight pivot from our scheduled programming, but I think it's a worthy way to spend an afternoon together, really getting closer to understanding Thoughtium through the captain himself. Grift, it's great to have you here.
It's great to be here, Makenzi. I know I wasn't necessarily the guest of honor, the first choice.
We'll have you here
Not the
anyway.
first time in my life. Not the first time in my life. I'm also the second CEO of Thoughtium, so maybe there's a trend here. But I'm excited for the conversation, excited for the chance to share a little bit about what's going on under the hood at Thoughtium, and I can't wait to see some of the questions that you've put together to walk through.
Amazing. Well, I'm excited to jump in, Grift, but I know that you are deep in 2 kids under 2. Same. So I know this can make for some long days, some longer nights. So I just want to start with a little moment of levity here. What's been bringing you joy recently?
First thing that came to mind is so our daughter Charlie is just eclipsed the 2.5-year-old mark, which I guess my experience of this is she's become, this is SAS meter has turned on. And I realized when she was really little, anytime I would ask her to do anything, I would give her a set of directions, and then I would end it with okay. I didn't realize I was doing it at the time until now. Anytime Charlie tells me she's going to do anything, she ends it with a K. So the other day we were going to leave and go to the park, and she's like, "Daddy, we're going to go to the park. You're going to take me to get ice cream, and then I'm going to take a nap. K." And I think that it's really funny because to just watch yourself get parroted back to you, but also
Absolutely.
I think there's a tinge of her making fun of me.
As is life for a 2.5-year-old, that makes sense.
So that just kind of watching her continued growth and evolution and some of her personality starting to shine through is just it's a total moment of joy. And on tough days, when things seem so hard, it's you get moments like that, and it kind of brings you back to center and all the stuff that really matters.
You got to savor that. I love that. Thank you, Grift. That's exactly what I wanted to hear. Just a little moment of spark and joy before we really get into the meat here. Because I'm really happy to hear that you're finding that, because you've been busy, been doing a lot.
We've been busy. Busy.
Yes, true. Because this marks actually your first quarter as CEO of Thoughtium. Yeah. So pretty exciting stuff. So I know that there's been a lot of growth and change, a lot of work for our business. So Grift, I have to ask, if you were to describe Thoughtium's current chapter in one sentence, what would it be?
Oh man, one sentence. You're challenging me on the brevity and the conciseness front early.
Getting those clips.
Okay, I'm gonna go a little energizer here. I'm gonna say Thoughtium's story is just getting started. Should I elaborate, or should I just
that was too good not to elaborate. Please, let's hear it.
And that's I want to be clear. I'm not in any way trying to besmirch or downplay any of the amazing work that we've done in our first decade as a company. But I think about a lot of the things that we put in motion last year, that some of the talent that we've brought in, some of the focus we brought to our business, whether it's in the things we do with our clients, whether it's in the actual clients that we're working with, or whether it's a little bit of the future of what we want to build on top of what we already have. I think we're just moving with a sense of purpose and direction that it just feels really cohesive and connected. And I think if anything has happened in this first quarter, it's been just an absolute pleasure and a proud moment for me to watch a series of really talented, passionate people just do amazing work. And alongside all the things we've put in place in procedure and process and all that, at the end of the day, a company like ours, pretty much any company, but I would maybe just double down and say a services company like ours, your value is in the talent that you have. And, I would put our talent up against anyone. And then, add in the level of passion and the level of connection and the cohesiveness that we're moving with right now. I mean, I see all the impact we're creating, not just for ourselves, but with our clients. And I think to myself, man, I feel like we're just scratching the surface on what's possible here.
I love that. I love hearing that. And Grift, that was actually like right in mind what I was going to ask next is what feels different about Thoughtium today
Mm,
versus 6 months ago versus a year, 10 years. But I think you spoke a lot to that of this kind of defining a new era and feeling like it's the beginning and there's this turning a page. And I appreciate the flattery and how amazing the talent is here. I was hired a year ago, so I appreciate you recognizing the splash I made coming in. So thank you for that. And it's amazing to hear that, especially as you take the helm in this quarter. So instead, what I'm going to ask you, Grift, is thinking about all the things that we're doing in this new chapter and what we're
mm,
preparing for. What are we deliberately not doing right now,
mm.
and
Oof.
why?
I think maybe just in a broad perspective, it's really hard right now to not run in like every direction
Definitely.
that's presented to you. I think uh,
Oh,
are we back?
yeah, you're good. Barely a second. We didn't notice.
Hey, that's what we're not doing is we're not exiting conversations early.
Good way to start.
But I think, like I'll just put this in the backdrop of like I empathize with a lot of leaders, not just of businesses like us and our size, but just in general. Like it's a really just like hard time in the world. There's so much uncertainty in the world of like what's going on with technology and the evolution. And every day it seems like there's a new study coming out of either the amazing upside or the potential doomsday side of the wave of AI. Put that against all of this, the global conflict that is going on right now,
Definitely.
and like not to just put it all in that front, but like you bring it back down to your business, and you're like, how do we stay the course, and how do we continue to be an organization that is amidst all of this noise and amidst all of this uncertainty, like continue to march towards a vision and a mission that we truly believe in. And so I think like the name of the game, the ability to prioritize is probably like the super skill of organizational leaders right now, and like staying true to that prioritization. Um, and so I'm trying to live up to that the best I possibly can. And I think we are as an organization as well. And so I think some of the things that we're deliberately not doing is we're not leaning so far into trying to become like an AI company. Um, I think we firmly believe that AI has a role in allowing us to do our work better, and it has a role in allowing organizations we work with to do their work better. And it also has a role in the relationship between us and how we can actually use those types of tools and pieces of technology to, say, enhance learning experiences, enhance leadership development programs, even enhance some of the strategic work that we're doing. But I think it'd be really easy to say, well, we need our own platform, we need our own, uh, extremely integrated set of tech stack and tools and all of that. And not to say that we're not figuring that out from an operational and a workflow perspective, but I think what we're trying to just say is like, hey, we're not your AI company. Like what we are is your learning partner. And there are a couple of moments around any learning process, behavior change journeys, et cetera, that like we know have to be inherently human. And we're like doubling down our ability to be amazing in those moments. And we want technology to then be sort of the wrapper on either side, on either the primer or the reinforcer and sustainment. So I think one of the things is not trying to relabel ourselves as like the XYZ AI company, because it's not our sweet spot. I think the other thing, and this is kind of related to that, but it's just like it's not trying to do too much. Like we're recognizing our capability set around strategy, around leadership, and around learning. Like it's very integrated. Like all of those things we do are very much interrelated, and they feed off one another. And our best client relationships have a flavor of all three of those things going on. And if we were to continue to say add on to the things we're doing, you could start to see maybe the dilutive impact on some of the ways that we're able to actually drive business results with our clients. So staying true to the things we do really well. Really, really good experiences across learning, leadership, and strategy. I think the last thing, I mean, this is maybe not exactly answering your question, but the last thing we're not doing is like hitting the panic button.
A good call.
Well, I think like, and again, like I think it's really easy to read a lot of the headlines today and think that you have to rip what you're doing down to the studs and you have to totally rethink it. And while I think there's a lot of transformation that's happened, and there's a lot of transformation to come, I also still firmly believe that like work and organizations are still going to be groups of people working with other people, doing things for other people. And what will sit at the center of all the challenges that arise in that equation is people. And so we know we're going to have a place at that table, and we have to stay agile, and we have to stay relevant in ensuring we know what's going on around us. But like, we shouldn't tear down all the amazing foundation that we've built, because I think we're really, really good in that space.
I love that, Grift. Thank you. I love that we're not hitting panic and that we're really thinking about what we want to be doing here, because I think one of the hardest things to do is say no and prioritize what makes sense, especially when there's so much change happening around us and it feels like no one's moving fast enough. And I think what you're getting at here is ultimately staying true to who we are and what we do well, and that's human experiences, connecting people to people, and doing that in a really thoughtful, intentional, joyful way, that gives people the space to be themselves.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate your thought there, Grift. And I'm curious, as you think about a Q1 specifically and kind of your last couple of months here as CEO, what did we learn within this quarter that's going to change how we operate or think going forward, knowing the priorities that you just explained?
Yeah. Well, I will tell you, I'm gonna throw that question back to you after I answer, because I really want to hear your response here. So sorry if I'm coming after the interviewer a little bit.
Yeah, that's not why I'm here.
Look, I think one of the things that we've learned is moments like this really need human connection. Like when the uncertainty ramps up, and when you start to see some of that fear creep in of like what the future is going to look like, and am I going to have a job, and is our organization going to be totally different? And I think it's really easy to run to like process and paperwork and like clarity of documentation. And I have this kitschy saying, as you know, I'm full of, like, the human tendency for some reason is to try to put ring fences around hurricanes. And like, so this idea of like, hey, we're going to like just really clearly communicate. Like, I'm not saying that doesn't matter, but I think one of the best things that we've done as an organization is, amidst some of our own challenging times, like not sacrificed the chances for our team to reconnect with each other. And look, I'm not going to convince every organizational leader who either listens to this or who talks to me, but I just have a fundamental belief that the ROI on that connection like is incalculable. Like when you create that space to allow people to feel reconnected to why the heck they're doing this thing, and get a chance to just like be in the cut with the people that they've grown and built really strong relationships with, it's hard for me to understand why people don't think of that as like an absolute value add and an ROI mindset around that stuff. So I just can't emphasize enough, if anyone were to listen to this and be like, you don't underestimate the power of like giving your people the chance to truly connect with one another and like engage in some fun.
Definitely.
Again, like I know it's such a hard time right now, and maybe the word fun is creeping into the 4-letter words of like, oh, like we can't because we got to be so serious.
Yeah.
But I think one of the best things that we're bringing to clients right now is like, we're a fun break in their week. Like whether it's in an offsite, or whether it's in a virtual workshop, or whether it's in a working session, or whether it's in an interview, it's like, it's this combination that Thoughtium is getting known for, which is like, man, we care so much about the work that we do, and we don't take ourselves so seriously while we do it. I think people just love to be around. And so I don't know. I'm probably dancing around answering your question. But I think this idea of connection for me is front and center. And I will do everything in my power, like as the leader of this organization, to not ever sacrifice that piece, because I think it's just it's such an important thing for our culture, and B, I think it just is the underpinning of our ethos. So that was a learning. That was a long one.
It's a good one, though. It's a good one.
I only have time for maybe another one. I think the other one is, interestingly, I've been in the world of these types of experiences for close to a dozen years now, and I think I remember a time where like digital was like the hottest possible word you could add to anything.
Yep.
And I don't know. I think what's interesting is I'm starting to see, like, when the pendulum swung that far in technology and the romance around technology being able to scale and make efficient and make effective and make consistent, like learning and development, and even things around strategy and strategy activation. I think like it's interesting to see that pendulum has like swung back in many cases. And I'm having a lot of conversations with senior leaders of organizations who point blank tell me like, hey, if we do this thing, can we bring a notebook? Can we like tell people to leave their laptop behind? Can we like not do the digital version of what we're talking about? And I think that speaks back to the connection piece, which is like when we're all so wrapped up in our digital technology, which is so helpful to help us do our jobs. Don't get me wrong.
Absolutely.
But I think this idea of like pure connection and presence is showing up in that, and like getting people to, to ask for the things that are like analog, that like, got replaced with all the sexy digital tools and all that. Like, I'm not saying there won't be a place for both in the future, but I think seeing that reemerge has been an interesting learning and something that we've been really excited to lean into. We think about just the presence that more of an analog experience can bring. And then I think maybe I'll just like, I'll come back to our team. Like I'm just learning how kick-ass like our team is, even more so than I thought. Like, don't get me wrong, I never doubted our team, but I've just been floored by the level of ownership, the level of excitement, the level of proactivity, the ideas that have been generated out of like a bunch of challenging opportunities that have showed themselves out of a lot of like growth moments for us. Like we're growing really quickly, and it's causing us to be in many different places at once. And man, I've been so impressed by our team's ability to be flexible, be agile, be empathetic to one another, and not just to each other, but to clients alike. So my last learning is like, man, how lucky am I? I got like a team who gets it, who wants it, who sees this vision in this direction that we're trying to go into, and doesn't just see it as like another piece of bureaucratic material passed down. Like they see it as theirs. And I don't want to speak for our team. I think I'm doing that a little bit, so I'm trying to watch my words. But like, it's just been really, really cool to see people take the vision that we've all created together and like really make it their own and move with really quick pace. And I think we're seeing the results of that with our clients who are like, our team is just cooking with gas.
I love that. Well, thank you, Grift. That gave me everything I hoped for.
That was like a 6-minute answer. That was like a 6-minute answer.
Oh, it was so much just to talk about the human connection and the value we see that in the people here and the work that we do and how this shows up. And you talked to a lot about your perspective as CEO and how it's evolved as well, and just the way you're seeing this show up at clients, and human connection really coming to the core of our work, and the way we show up for clients and the way we show up for each other, I think is paramount to our success and for us to have a good time while we do this work that we do, especially in the world today.
I'm not going to let you off the hook, because I said I was going to ask you the same question of what you learned in Q1. So what do you got? What do you got, Makenzi?
Oh man. Well, after that, I'm not quite sure, but I think I will emphasize that I know firsthand it's easy to get sucked into the work. You go from back-to-back Zoom meetings, from one call to another, you're pivoting from one thing to something else, and it's easy to just jump right into what it is. And I think we have to remind ourselves to pause and connect with each other and do the things that we tell others to do. And ask the silly question up, ask them how they are and really listen, and take the moment to, and the space, and create that space to connect, because the work's going to happen. Like you said, we've got a really kick butt team that works really hard and does the thing. And I trust wholeheartedly. So I know that those 5 minutes are worth it to reconnect and to have a moment together.
Yeah.
So Grift, I really appreciate you taking the time today to talk through this and give us a little state of the union on Thoughtium and where we're at, and what this quarter has looked like, especially with your first as CEO. You've gave me so much to think about, as someone who is lucky enough to be on your ship as you go through this, and also someone who's communicating out to those clients. So I really appreciate that. So I do have one more question to ask you, to send us off. And I just want to ask you, what are you grateful for?
Oh man. Oh man. I'm grateful for a lot of things. I think one of the things that I'm most grateful for is to be able to say, across many different aspects of my life, I feel very grateful. So that's a little meta, but like I think
gratitude is gratitude. That's honestly, that's it. That's what
I mean, I look at my personal life, and I feel really fortunate to be, with a partner that I care about, with 2 young kids who are growing and are pure chaos, but pure love too. And then I look at the business that we're getting the chance to build, and I love the work we get to build. I love the people we get to do it with, both our team and our clients, and then I also look at some of the things I've been able to lean more into outside of Thoughtium, like even in my local community, Chicago community, and I just feel like I feel really grateful that I've been able to step into those different lanes, and for me that just means like now I'm like, man, I got a real seat of privilege, of gratitude. Like, how do I pay that back? Part of that is like, I want to be an amazing leader for this organization. I want to be a example in the community of someone who doesn't just focus on top line, bottom line, but focuses on impact. And I want to be a good example as a dad and as a partner. So I think I think the gratitude comes with like a privilege and an opportunity to pay it back. And so I feel a lot of that right now. And so that gratitude is like, for me, it's channeling into trying to be the best leader I can be in a lot of different aspects of my life.
Amazing. Well, I don't think anyone could say it better than that, Griff. So thank you so much. I so appreciate you sharing your wisdom and your time with us today, so we could get a little bit closer to how you're leading this amazing organization, which sounds like you're doing one heck of a good job. So I'm excited to see where this continues to go. So
I appreciate that. And Makenzi, we're very, very lucky to have you on board. And if anyone didn't watch the Meet the Team episode, I think it last week or was it the week before? Was it last week?
Last week, Navigating Now, Can't Get Enough of Me.
Wolf, there were some one-liners you dropped. I think the one that sat with me that I literally told Laura, my wife, about. I was like, Makenzi said this thing. She said, everyone wants a good neighbor, but stops short of being one. And I'm like, I need to be a good neighbor this weekend. So you inspired me to be a little different last weekend with that one-liner.
I appreciate it. It's a good one that my neighbors have inspired me with. So you got to just keep passing that baton.
Yeah, there you go.